This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Welcome into the practice squad. And today's going to be a bit of a reverse Oreo. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Jim Costa is actually the one who first gave me the idea of an Oreo. I thought of it as a sandwich, but I like the Oreo at reference. So normally we're sports, fun, sports. Today we're going to be fun, sports, fun. But we're still going to kind of be sports in the first segment. So coming up in a bit, Stroz, we're like a week out from the start of the NFL season. And I think I've talked about it on the podcast. For the first time in a long time, well, that's not true, last year too, but these last 2 years are the first times really ever that I'm going into a Lions season not optimistic. So I've got to give you something that has me feeling optimistic about the Lions. That's coming up in about 10, 15 minutes. Also, Stroz is old AF.
You have no idea.
I think I'm going to compete with you. I mean, you're older, obviously, but I think I have a prop for that segment that I've mentioned that I'm so excited to show you. Even though, unfortunately, we can't show it on a recording, I do have a prop for that segment. No, it is not a cane, but it kind of does look like one.
Just when we tweet the episode out, retweet a picture of it.
Okay, so
let everybody know.
But first things first. Last week, I mentioned how best ball drafts have kind of helped get me ready for fantasy or football season. Because you were saying you weren't ready for football season. And we did our first one over the weekend. And
we did it together for, I think, like the first 4 rounds. Then my mom showed up. And I'll be honest with you. She distracted me a lot during this. That might have been part of the reason for some of the questionable selections I made.
So I tend to do these drafts watching TV. They take about an hour, 30 seconds per pick. It's super quick. It's a really good way to get prepared for fantasy football. It's a really good way to gamble and play fantasy football. And it's just fun. The drafts are the most fun thing to do. I thought we might touch on it for a minute or two in this episode, but you told me you want to do a whole segment on it. So what's going on? How you doing? What are you thinking? How many have you done? Are you a degenerate yet? Like, update me, Stroz.
So I phrased this in the rundown as B turns Stroz on with this. And I want to be honest with you, man. You turned me on with this.
B turned Stroz on to it. Like, I showed
you turned me on. Like, I'm hard. So
Stroz, usually that's reserved for like 30 minutes into the show. But we've gotten very good at fitting sex references into our show lately. But we gotta ease the audience into it. You can't just drop that line 5 minutes into a podcast.
I was blown away by what we did on Saturday afternoon with the best ball draft. I loved it. I thought it was great. I have been wanting to go back to my DraftKings app and join another 1 or 2. Actually, it's been like burning a hole in my pocket. I want to go do it so bad. I think I'm going to do one after we get done with this podcast. I haven't done another one yet, but I have been tooling around on it, and I have been looking, and I am eager to do another one of these. And
you've been looking. What does that even mean? You're just like, ooh.
So no, it's like
that $5 entry catches my. They don't change like those.
No, I know, but it's like this, right? So like, I told you about how my dad has a problem, right?
Right.
And it's trying to weigh that and work through that, because if I can say no now to my, like, in my brain, I'm like, wait, you still have control and you're not going to become a degenerate. But like, I'm on the verge of becoming a degenerate with this best ball draft. And like, I don't want it to ruin me, B. I don't want it to cripple me. I put $25 in the bank and they gave me an extra 5. So I've got $20 left over. I don't want you to find me one day underneath the viaduct, living on a cardboard box saying, we'll suck you off for $5 so I can play DraftKings best ball.
So, you know what's so funny is when we did our draft, you told me you put $25 in, and you said, I'll probably not do this again.
Yeah.
You said that.
I said that.
I'll probably never log on to this app again.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do 25. I don't even think you can do a 25. It's like 1, 3, 10, and I think the next one jumps all the way to 33. So my thought was, let's just do a $10 one. It's a little on my high side. I mostly do $1 and $3 ones. Actually, I'm for the most part doing $3 ones. But I also thought, I don't know, man. Like, these are pretty awesome. I've said to many people, if you're not familiar with best ball, just a very brief overview. You draft a team and then you don't touch it again. It sets your best possible starting lineup every week, and whoever has the most points wins the money at the end of the year. But I think it's the future of fantasy football. That's not to say that leagues with your buddies don't ever, I don't think they ever go away, but I think there's a lot of people who love fantasy football, but don't have the time for the investment of a week-to-week grind. Because that's the other thing. You don't even make roster adjustments. You have a deep bench, but you never make free agent pickups or anything. Your roster is what your roster is.
I was blown away that it was, I think it's 20 rounds, right? That shocked me. I was like, holy cow. You're like, why'd you take so many tight ends? I was like, I'm just looking for guys to possibly go off. I think I took 4 tight ends. Who needs 4 tight ends?
So one thing, because you were distracted, you probably didn't see, but a big strategy, I'm going to give you a major tip right here. Draft running backs who will be every down backs if the starter goes down. Mm-hmm. Because
so handcuffs, draft handcuffs.
No,
yeah, for sure.
Basically. Yeah. But don't draft your handcuffs.
Yeah.
So for example, if you have Dalvin Cook, you don't want Alexander Madison. Because if Dalvin Cook goes down, you're done. You're not going to win the league. Because you have to remember, it's not like a lucky week or two. At the end of the year, you have to have the most points. Yeah. So if your number one pick goes down, you're not going to win. What you want is, if you have Dalvin Cook, you also want to have Tony Pollard. Because now if Ezekiel Elliott goes down, you have 2 very high-end running backs. Mm-hmm. But the whole idea is, instead of doing free agency, you're drafting guys who could end up being free agent pickups later on in the year. But it's funny when you tell me that I turned you on with this and you haven't touched it again. Because I spent probably close to $100 last year doing drafts. Wow. And I think look, I am not the peer pressure guy. I'm not the one who tells you to have another drink when you don't want to. I'm not the guy who encourages you to gamble when you don't want to. Not to say I've never done it, but it's not really my thing. The one thing I will say about this is I feel like the cheap buy-ins make it a little easier to be responsible. And I can understand how you can say, oh, yeah, but Brendan, a 12-team league, $1 buy-in doesn't do anything for me because, at the end of the league, I won $7. That's why I'm doing the $3 buy-ins. Because I didn't walk you through it, but if you do a $3 buy-in, Stroz, it's a tournament. So if you have the most points at the end of week 12, then you move on to week 13. And then if you have the most points in that league for week 13, you move to 14 and then 15 and so on. And the top price for the $3 buy-in is $50,000.
Holy cow.
So it's a lottery ticket in a way, but that's the way I think these kind of things are fun. It's low risk and the chances that you win are very low, mm-hmm. but it's high reward.
Since we've done it, there's probably been 3 nights now where I've been sitting on the couch, and you know how when you get that itch and you're just kind of there, you're just kind of looking at your phone out the side of your eye, just kind of like how you're looking down at whatever you're looking down at right now. And you're just kind of yeah, I want to, no, don't just say no. So I will tell you this much. I have a fantasy draft on Saturday we talked about. I will have done probably 1, maybe 2 more of these before that draft.
You're so cute.
Why?
Because if I'm going to be watching TV, Netflix or wherever for at least an hour, I'm probably doing a draft. Let me see how many I've done so far. So DraftKings just added these. The website that I used to use, I could do a whole hour podcast on this. Draft.com is the website I used to use. FanDuel purchased them and shut them down and said that they were going to integrate it into their own app, right? Well, I would start doing these in July. FanDuel didn't add them to their app until a month ago, if that. So I've missed out on a precious time of doing these. For some reason, I can't find my draft.
Precious time.
Dude, you got to understand, you know how much time I've been spending sitting at home doing nothing? How nice would it have been? It pisses me off that they purchased this product. And, I guarantee you they lost significant money by not having these available earlier. So I've done 12 so far. And I still got 8 days until the NFL season starts. I'll probably do 5 more.
So you have 17 before the season starts. Now, I
probably had 40 last year.
Can you do these during the season too? Do they have the best ball option, or is it just the weekly fantasy?
No, it's just daily fantasy at that point.
Okay. Do you do a lot of that or no?
That's kind of a disrespectful question.
Why? Why
do I do a lot of that? Do you know me?
I know you do some. I know you do some betting and stuff like that, but I don't know if you do a ton of it or not.
We've done 37 episodes, and I've never told you about winning. I tell everybody about this. It's probably one of the coolest fun facts about me. I won a trip to New York playing daily fantasy.
I don't think I knew that.
I don't know how, man. I'm going to call them all 38 episodes. I've shared that story before.
Okay. Maybe I just don't remember.
Yeah, no, I've won. So I won the trip to New York, which is my biggest win by far. That being said, I have a friend who I split a membership for like a premium, like for, I pay for content, basically. I pay for people who do the research week to week. He won $2,000 or $3,000 last year. I helped build a lineup on air with one of my hosts last year. He won $3,000. I have not had a multi-$1,000 win, although the New York trip was obviously valued at that. And I've won hundreds of dollars several times.
So what'd you do with that New York trip? So you got to go to New York, and they put you up in your hotel and all that too?
Yeah, dude, they put us in, what is the place called? The Ritz-Carlton.
Okay. Wow.
In New York, right across the street from Central Park. I looked up the cost. It was like $550 a night for the a year that we were staying there.
Holy cow.
They flew so they gave me 2 plane tickets basically both ways.
Take your dad?
What was that?
Take your dad?
I took my ex.
Oh, your ex, okay.
Which, like, in a way, it sucks that, like, the person I shared that experience with isn't in my life anymore. But, like, it was the right decision, no doubt. So it's 2 plane tickets, the hotel room.
Did you massacre that hotel room? Yeah, B.
I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm not usually willing to get into this, but you told me you wanted this to be a short episode. It clearly will not be. So to be honest with you, man, it was the single most tiring experience of my life. And I'm not talking about what we did in the hotel room because we didn't do anything in the hotel room. And like, understand, like, it sounds disappointing, but like, I'm telling you, if you were in the same place, you would not have wanted to either. Here's the breakdown of how this went. We only it wasn't an actual, like, it wasn't a New York trip. I want a chance to go see the Pistons play in New York.
Yeah.
So they flew us out. I believe it was a Tuesday. It might have been a Wednesday. Either way, we'll say it's Tuesday. They flew us out Tuesday morning. The game's Tuesday night. So we get into New York. We wake up like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, get into New York. We're trying to fit all of New York into a couple days, right? So we get in, we drop our stuff off. We walk around Central Park for like maybe an hour. That's our Central Park experience. Go back to the hotel, change, walk to see our Broadway show. We were both theater people, right? You can't not see a Broadway show. Walk back to the hotel, change again. Now the team was going to provide us a bus ride. And this would have been really cool because it was a bus with players and media members. But if we did that, we couldn't have seen the Broadway show. Mm-hmm. So like, you can't, like, I'm sorry, being theater people, that's like a non-debate. Like, we're going to see the show. So to fill our experience of walking through like Times Square and, downtown New York, we walked from our hotel to the stadium. Can you look it up for me while I tell this story? The distance from
Carlton to MSG?
Yeah, basically look from from Central Park to MSG. Because I believe there are 2 Ritz-Carltons, and we stayed at the one across the street from Central Park. So we walked down there, got our New York-style pizza on the way, watched the game, and then we hit the How I Met Your Mother bar because we had watched How I Met Your Mother. It's based on a real bar in New York, if you didn't know.
I did not know.
Yeah. Had a drink there, finished the walk back to the hotel. I don't know how much walking we did that day, but I woke up at like 5 in the morning, got back to the hotel room at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning after all that walking and all that stuff. And like, I remember like sitting in the shower, just like taking a shower before bed, just sitting there and then passing out.
So it'll take you, it's at least 3 miles.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it'll take you about 58 minutes.
Bros.
That's pretty intense, bro.
And understand, we walked through Central Park.
Mm-hmm.
We walked to the show and back.
You definitely got your steps in this day.
And we woke up at 5 or 6 in the morning. And we flew out the next night, so we still get a chance to experience that night. Mm-hmm. We wake up in the morning, drop our bags off, like downstairs they have somewhere where they can watch your bags. We went to the, I don't know what the actual name for it, like the World Trade Center Memorial Museum or something of the sort.
See, this is when you need to chop up some Adderall and maybe bring an 8-ball with you, and you just start ripping lines, and you're good to go for the rest of the night.
Understand, like, I had a great time, but you're trying to tell me you would have tried to fool around in that hotel room after that.
I mean, I probably would have just wanted to go to bed, too.
Dude, I wanted to go to bed so bad. I don't think there's ever been an experience in my life where I was less interested in sex.
You're like, no, not tonight. My feet hurt. I'm tired.
I
My
do
back
have to say, we
aches.
got to wrap this segment up because we're going way too long. Which is the theory. I honestly, Stroz, I've just given into that. I've gotten to the place where I'm going to have fun on this podcast. I hope our listeners are enjoying. If you're not, you can yell at me at Brandon Riley _ at Amar Stroz. I just don't care how long we go.
Yeah, please let me know. If you're not having fun, then I'm doing something wrong. So let me know.
And if it's because we're too long, sorry, we're probably going to keep doing it.
It's a podcast. You can pause it and come back.
Where was I going? I had a point to this.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I derailed you again.
Final point.
Yes.
That next day, after we went to the museum, we had time just to grab food. And
she give you like a handy while you guys were waiting for your airplane?
You didn't fool around at all.
At all. Oof.
And look, I took her to.
I enjoy a good hand job. I should at least give you a handy underneath a blanket or a paper towel or something.
For a Taylor Swift concert.
Uh-huh.
And that was also a very tiring day, but I was very disappointed we didn't fool around in Pittsburgh.
I'll be honest with you, bro. You need to like start having sex in destinations and like on things. Yes, I said on things, like stuff. Like there's this random couch. Have sex on it. I mean, there's a table.
Look, hold on. I'm not trying to we're diving into the sex life of an old relationship. This wasn't like a normal thing where it didn't happen. These were two instances, and both, I think, understandable. I had no interest in New York. Anyways, let me get to this final point of the story, dude.
I feel like she should have blew you at least, just because.
We dated 6.5 years, and we basically didn't fight. Probably a lot of that had to do with our age, being young and not having to deal with a lot of real life issues.
Were you super passive?
Oh, dude, have you met me? I until about 2 years ago, I viewed my entire purpose for life as making other people happy.
Yeah, there you go. That's why you didn't have any fights, B.
The level of frustration she had as we tried to find a place to eat, I've never dealt with anything like it in my life. She was so angry, and it wasn't at me, but as someone who felt like my job was to make other people happy, it was a miserable experience.
Yeah.
We actually went into a restaurant. She saw the menu, couldn't eat anything there. She was a picky eater, and we just left. And we ended up eating at a fucking diner. After, I kid you not, we probably spent 2 hours trying to find a place to eat.
Oh, God, it's horrible.
But the experience as a whole was awesome. And I always say, it doesn't matter what happens from here on out. There's no way that I can lose more money on daily fantasy than that experience was worth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. I see why you're such a fan of it now. That makes total sense to me. And that trip sounds amazeballs.
Imagine the night, dude, the night where I won it.
How pumped and geeked.
So I had friends over to watch a Pistons game, and they just chilled. It was midnight. And at midnight, it was a 5,000 person tournament. First place wins a trip. And at midnight, when they were getting ready to leave, I'm in 6th. And I got 2 players left. And I'm like, you guys cannot leave. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm in 3rd. It's 1:30. I'm in 1st, holding off. It's between me and one dude. It goes final 2 o'clock in the morning. I remember Rudy Gay at the free throw line hitting free throws helped push my lead up. I'm not even kidding you. This is years ago, and I remember Rudy Gay was on my roster.
That's awesome.
Crazy moment. My dad
that is awesome.
Too. He woke me up at 5 in the morning and was like, "You won?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You won?" Yeah, I did. I won. Crazy. We just spent 25 damn minutes somehow getting to me going to New York and not having sex.
Is there not a more Lil B thing than that?
So we need to move on really badly. Stroz, you're the one who told me you wanted this episode to be a shorty.
I did too. I'm supposed to be watching wrestling right now.
All right. Coming up in 15 minutes, Stroz is old. But first, the one thing that has me optimistic on the Lions. Stroz, I'm not optimistic about them as a whole, but I got to tell you, I don't remember where this came up. I think the Lions are going to be the best offense in the NFC North, and I don't think it's close. And
explain yourself.
Well, so I know that you don't think it's crazy. I know that. And I'm going to surprise you with a little bit of a twist that I didn't necessarily prepare you for.
Okay.
Wide receiver. Who has the better wide receiver? Who in the league has better wide receivers than the Lions? I think
you can make the argument that Minnesota with Adam Thielen is better.
Absolutely cannot.
Well, they got Justin Jefferson. So Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson. I mean, if he shows up,
I honestly don't think you can make the case anywhere. I think Kenny Golladay is
and Marvin
as
Jones.
good as Adam Thielen, and as good as Allen Robinson.
Yeah, I think
as good as Devontae Adams.
So okay, let's go. Yeah, let's go Green Bay then. All right, so because a lot of people are.
Look at the number 2 gap. Look at the number 2 gap in Green Bay. Marvin Jones versus Allen Lazard.
Yeah, so like a lot of people are high on Lazard. I'm not as high as them, but
I don't know who the hell's high on Lazard. Like, what do you have, like 400 yards last year? Look, the Lions have the best wide receivers in the NFC.
I think they have the best number 1, number 2. Yes.
At quarterback, the only quarterback who I would even put in the same conversation as Stafford is Aaron Rodgers.
No,
I got to tell you something.
Really?
I don't know if he's better at this point in his career.
No, he's not. Definitely, he's not. I think if you're gonna put a quarterback to challenge him, it would probably be Kirk Cousins. And I don't even think Kirk Cousins is great, but I think at this point it is Matt Stafford, Kirk Cousins, then Aaron Rodgers, and then whatever the hell you got going on in Chicago.
At running back, as much as I don't like the DeAndre Swift pick, if you're going to give any credit to Minnesota for Justin Jefferson being any good, you have to give credit to DeAndre Swift for being good. And here's the thing. I think Kerryon Johnson is a good running back. Like, I understand he has health issues, but the 1-2 of DeAndre Swift and Kerryon Johnson, I expect to be not better than Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison, but definitely better than what they're doing in Chicago. Probably comparable to what they're doing in Green Bay. I think Aaron Jones is probably safer, but I don't know that I feel as good about their depth. But like, I look across the board. Here's what I would say. The Lions should have a complete offense.
What about, yes, I think you're right.
And let me go one step further. Their offensive coordinator is damn good.
He's very good.
They have the weapons. They have a good enough offensive line. They have the quarterback. They have the offensive coordinator. Here's where I'm going to take a step that I didn't prepare you for. I don't like this coach. I don't like this team. But what I really don't like is the NFC North. Mina Kimes probably has pushed me towards this because I respect her a lot, and she's very pro Lions this season. I'm not telling you they're going to win the division. I'm not telling you they're going to make the playoffs, but I'm going to tell you, because of their offense, I think it's very much in play in this division. I think that's a very important part.
So here's the thing. I think right now the line is 6.5 for this team for wins. And if I had $1,000, I would run to the window right now and I put $1,000 on Detroit to go over 6.5. I think this team, because of their offense, and again, I'm in lockstep with you with their offensive coordinator is very good. I think what they've done with this running game looks like it could be very good. I don't trust Kerryon Johnson. I have a lot of issues with him. I don't trust him. I think Matt Stafford is probably heads and tails the best quarterback in this division. That's just because of where Aaron Rodgers is. He's on the downside of his career. I think Matt Stafford's better than Kirk Cousins, and I don't trust anything that they've got going on in Chicago. Wide receivers, I think you've got the best duo of wideouts in the NFC. Offensive line's a big question mark for me, though.
I don't think that's fair.
Offensive line, you're going to be starting 2 rookie guards.
Who the guy that what's the Hawaiian dude they just signed? What's he play?
Big V. Big V, I think, is a tackle. I believe so. I'm pulling it up right now. I'm pulling up their depth chart right now. I believe Big V's a tackle, if I remember correctly. Big V's your right tackle. Jonah Jackson, rookie. He's your right guard. Frank Ragnow. So they've got Joe Dahl in there instead of Logan Steinberg right now. So I think Steinberg's going to probably beat Joe Dahl out.
It's a question mark, but I feel confident saying it's not going to be brutal.
Okay.
I'm confident in Frank Ragnow. I'm confident enough in Taylor Decker, who just got paid. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I feel pretty good about Big V, too.
I think Big V will be okay. Decker, look, as far as his contract goes, I probably would have took the wait and see approach. I think they got a good deal on it. It's not like they're paying him to be an elite offensive tackle. They're paying him to be pretty good. Decker just hasn't impressed me since his rookie year. I know he's dealt with some injuries. It's just his rookie year was really good, and I just feel like he's never really attained that level again. Frank Ragnow, I love. I think he's good. I'm interested to see what Jonah Jackson is, and I'm interested to see what Logan Steinberg is, because I think he beats out Joe Dahl when it's all said and done. And like the biggest critique on Steinberg is he's a little bit too aggressive, and he plays with a little bit too much of an edge, and he ends up with too many stupid penalties. And that will hurt you. That will hurt your team for sure.
Here's what I'll say about Decker. I don't pretend to be able to tell you who the good linemen are by watching, but Pro Football Focus has had Decker as a very good pass protector in 3 out of his 4 seasons. They don't have him as a great run blocker, But if I'm being totally honest, at left tackle, I'm okay with sacrificing my run blocking for a good pass protector.
And I'll agree with you there. Keep my quarterback upright and don't let him die.
I think it's a question mark of how, like, are they only average? But I feel pretty comfortable that they'll be at least average.
Can we both agree that the strength of this team is definitely on the offensive side of the ball? Or you absolutely trust the offensive side of the ball, whereas the defensive side you're really questioning.
I'm telling you, the offense, I feel pretty good. Like, if Matthew Stafford stays on the field, I feel that this offense is gonna keep them in the playoff race all year. I think the playoffs are possible. Like, that's really what my take is here.
Yeah.
Is that despite not liking the coach and not trusting the defense one bit, I think on the back of Matthew Stafford and the weapons around him, man, I don't know. I think they're the second best team in the division.
Behind who? Minnesota?
So I know that most people will go that route. I actually think Green Bay is the best team still.
Bay.
But
Okay.
I think Green Bay, Minnesota, and Detroit are all in the same ballpark.
I think so too.
Like, I don't think that anybody is head and feet above the other. And that's like I told you, I retweeted the other day. Mina Kimes talked about why she likes the Lions, and I watched the video, and it was like, man, I don't like this where this team's at, but I think she's right. And she made a really good point, Stroz, about how one of the best predictive stats for bounce backs is one possession games. And they lost the most one possession games in the league last year. And that's
Think about this, right? They lost those games with second, third, and fourth string quarterbacks.
And by the way, we're going to get a lot of crap. I thought you were going to fight me. We're going to get a lot of crap probably from Paul for this segment. So before I wrap it up and move on to Stroz being old, the one thing I want to say is I still don't like this team. I still don't think this team's a playoff team in a good division. This is two things. I'll say three. This is faith in Matthew Stafford. This is belief that the offensive coordinator is very good. And this is betting on a bad division. If you stuck this team, even with Stafford and Darrell Bevel, damn it.
Yes!
I don't even remember his real name anymore. It's Darrell, right?
Darrell Bevel, yes. But we call him Darren.
We do. Even with them, I still don't give them much of a chance to make the playoff in a good division. But I think this is a very bad division. I think you'll sweep the Bears, and I have no reason to believe that you can't at least split Minnesota and Green Bay. And that's 4 wins right there.
So I'm right there with you. I think for me, though, this is more an indictment on what this division is right now.
Yeah, no. I think it's half of it for me.
Mm-hmm. And like I think it's a very level-headed take. I don't like this team either. I don't like this head coach. I don't like what they're doing with this defense. Their new defensive coordinator, Corey Udlin, they're going to allow him to call plays. I don't think he's very good at his job. I mean, I went back and I looked at he's been with the Eagles since 2015. I went back and looked at their stats. At no point have they ever been a top 15 defense. Actually, at no point have they ever been better than the 17th ranked pass defense. Yeah. So we're looking at passing stats because he was the secondaries coach. And throughout his time there were multiple times where they were top 3 or top 5 in the most 40-yard plus plays downfield. So absolutely, like his units have never been very good. And look, I understand it's secondary, and I understand what's secondary. If you have a good defensive line, you can cover up a whole bunch. I think throughout the years, Philadelphia at certain points have had very good defensive lines. I don't think he's as good as everybody wants to make him out to be. So I really question that defense. I think that defense is going to be the Achilles heel of this team.
All right. I expected you to push back more.
Sorry.
So we're just going to move forward because we spent half an hour on the first segment. Thanks to you, Stroz.
It was a good segment.
You told me you're old, but you haven't told me the story.
Yeah. I was sitting on the couch the other night, and I was watching wrestling. I do a wrestling podcast on this network. And I was watching wrestling, and I was taking some notes.
Not many people start their story about being old with. So I was watching the WWE.
Yeah. It's true. So I'm watching Monday Night Raw, and I just went to go get up. Off the couch. And all of a sudden, my hip locked up, and I couldn't move. And I was in the most intense, searing pain in the left side of my hip that I have ever been in. And I just kind of had to roll over on my side, and I had to try to straighten out my leg to release some of the tension and some of the pressure in my hip. I have no idea what I did. I was just trying to get up.
Was this a one-time thing?
Well, like it's been sore ever since. It's now going on 3 days of just being absolutely sore. Like I tried walking upstairs on Tuesday night, and I got 5 steps in, and then I had to crawl my way back up the stairs.
So I may have the perfect product for you. I told you I had a prop.
What is this?
So you are the older one on this podcast, as much as it may not always sound that way.
I am 100. My body's telling me right now.
But I don't have any idea when this injury started. But I've been having actually a very similar issue. Mine is more lower back, but left side as well. And I mean, basically lower back hip area. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't hurt all the time, but there are movements that make it hurt. And for probably close to a month now, just to give you an example of the range of movements that I struggle with, I can't put on a sock. Like, I can't lift my leg to put on a sock without using my hands. Now, to be totally honest with you, some of that's probably just being fat. But also, that motion of lifting my leg hurts my lower back. Quick twists and turns hurt my back. And it was, when you talk about the sharpest pain of your life, like, that's kind of what it's been. Like, it doesn't hurt day to day, but when I do certain things, searing pain. Mm-hmm. Actually, what made me finally reach out to somebody, I stepped on, like, an uneven surface, and I about fell down. It hurt so bad. It was like a basic step, but like my back couldn't handle it. So I have a friend who's a physical therapist, and I reach out to him, kind of let him know what's going on. And he recommended physical therapy. He's a physical therapist. Of course he did. I was like, dude, I don't have insurance. Not an option. I make like $300 a week right now. And he recommended this handy dandy tool I'm showing you.
Oh, does that thing actually work?
Have you seen it?
Yes.
It's called a Theracane, I think.
Yeah.
How did the hell did you see it?
Oh, dude, because I got back pain like you wouldn't believe, bro. But I never told you the story. I never told you the story about how I threw my back out. Again,
I was
sitting on the couch.
That you were going to be like, oh, man, I was looking for toys.
No. I mean, I was expecting you to throw a strap on up there.
What? Does that sound like me?
No, but that's what I was expecting. You know how this podcast goes sometimes.
No, so all it is, it's just a tool that allows you to, like, I don't know the right words to use without giving you ammunition.
Okay, I'll keep it clean. Go ahead.
It allows you to, massage areas that you can't reach. And it does work really well for that. So, like, if you have I have a lower back pain that I can't, like, I can put my hand there, but I can't, like, really, like, do much with it. But yeah, I used it. I'm terrible at these things. I used it for a few days, and it made a major effect. And then I just stopped, and it's still not, like, totally fixed.
Yeah.
But it's way better. Now the searing pain, I can work my way through. Whereas before, it stopped me in my tracks. Like, it was like, okay, I'm frozen. I can't move. That hurts so bad. Now it's like, oh, this hurts, but I can still put my sock on, thankfully.
That's crazy. Like, I didn't even think those things actually worked. I've seen them before, and I've always wanted to get one because I've got crazy back pain all the time. And a couple years ago, I was watching wrestling again. I went to go get off the couch, and I just was crumbled to my knees, and I just had to lay there. Like, I was done. Absolutely.
You ever done that in front of somebody?
I was in front of my ex-wife at the time, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I can't move," and I was just stuck. I
asked because I had a major back injury back in 9th grade that stuck with me through high school. There would be moments where I would get, I remember one time standing up and then laying down on the ground in front of somebody, and it was like the most embarrassing thing in the world. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's happened, man. Like, so every morning when I wake up, right? Again, I'm old as shit. Every morning when I wake up, and again, try to go to put my socks on, I usually have to hold on to something because my back hurts so damn bad to bend over and put my socks on. And it's, here's the thing. This is what I found. Once I kind of get moving a little bit, a lot of those aches and a lot of those pains tend to kind of work themselves out. But by the end of the day, they're all back again. So I don't know. I'm just like 1,000. And like, it was just the weirdest thing because my girlfriend was over and she watched me try to get up, and then she seen me fall right back down onto the couch. And she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. And I'm trying to straighten my leg out.
Probably not.
And she's like, "That is the craziest thing I've ever seen." And I was like, I don't know what's going on here. And like, it's just been me limping around now for days. And I got stuck going up the stairs the other day where I was basically dragging my lower half up the stairs because it gave out on me after about 5 steps.
We're really doing a segment right now about just like random back.
About being old.
I don't even know where the hell else we go with this.
We're so damn old. Well, I am anyways. I'm sorry that your back's jacked up, man. I mean, I am excited that thing actually works because I might get one of those.
It's
I have
cheap,
a teeter.
like $20.
I have a teeter hang up in my basement here at my condo, and like I hardly ever use the damn thing because it's just so damn big. A teeter hang up.
A teeter hang up.
Yeah. So like you basically lock your feet in. It's an inversion table.
Okay, like now let's try English.
It's an inversion table. Like it flips you upside down, and like it's supposed to help stretch you out and like decompress your spine. And it's supposed to like
show you. So the lower back thing is a little bit harder. I definitely can't show you.
Okay.
But it's literally worth buying it for this alone. Like you could give yourself literally the best like shoulder massage.
So I'm gonna give everybody play-by-play right now. So B is in his chair. He's turned sideways. I'd say he's probably turned at about a 65-degree angle. He's got this thing that looks like a shepherd's hook over his shoulder, basically rubbing his back, rubbing it up and down. And he looks like he is enjoying every moment of this.
I mean, it's a little bit harder to use on the lower back where I have the issue, but it still works. But oh my gosh, it is literally just nice as like a massage tool.
It looks like it's effective. See, I've seen those when I've gone to I think Bed Bath Beyond or some other. I don't know. I've seen them before, and I was like, man, I always wanted to buy one because I've always been curious, but I didn't want to waste my money. And now that you mention this, I think I might go get one.
It was recommended by a physical therapist, so
awesome. He
would not lead you astray.
That is good to know. Maybe this is a weird way to end this podcast.
I got a fun. Well, not even really a story, but like one cool thing about being old is you have friends who are things like physical therapists.
Yes.
And it's been a while now, obviously living in Houston, but like, you know, if I'm in town or something, we're playing basketball. Like I've literally seen people get injured, and like we literally have a doctor who specializes in like injuries there to like help diagnose what probably happened and figure out what, like, he'll literally tell you whether or not it's okay to keep playing pickup basketball.
That's cool. He play like he's just there, or is he playing with you guys?
He's
playing with you. Okay, he's playing with you. Yeah, so I mean, it's cool. It's like everybody.
Isn't that weird?
Like, everybody's like now mature and they have like good jobs and they like know things.
Isn't that like I have multiple friends who are doctors now.
That's great.
Doesn't that feel old as hell?
Yeah.
Like
sure as shit does.
I have multiple friends who are doctors, and I am younger than you. Don't you feel like
Thanks, B. Thanks for putting it like that. I feel like I'm 1,000. Every day I wake up, everything hurts. I just got to roll out of bed. Can't just like pop up anymore. Look, guys, best advice for you. Don't ever get old. Just don't. It's not worth it. It sucks. Stay young forever.
All right. What a weird episode. I don't even know. Like, I got nothing, man. We had one normal topic today.
It's a good show, man.
That's going to do it. I am going to DC this weekend. So the next episode we do, I would imagine we will react to that.
Oh, of course we will. I look forward to this.
We're also going to be... Shoot, the next time we record this show should be the day of the first NFL playoff game. Or NFL game. NFL game.
Yeah, NFL game. Yeah.
Holy
so we'll
crap.
have the NFL game. We'll have Lions to talk about. We'll have your DC trip to talk about. Next week's show's already planned.
Oh, nice. That's going to do it. Thanks for hanging out with us. Apologize if you expected a more normal show, but I think we had a good time. At Brendan Ryan.